People of the world, welcome back to Send It Rising. Main story of the day, influencer marketing authentication. What does it mean when we hire people to put a post on their Instagram? Can we actually see the data that they are providing to us? How do we know that we're actually seeing conversions? How do we track that? This from Forbes.com. The big change here is that we can negotiate with influencers to get access behind the scenes. This is the big shift for a lot of major brands and a lot of small businesses too that are interested in doing influencer marketing but are a little bit concerned about whether or not they will see any sort of return on investment. The article states brands that engage in influencer marketing can now access analytics data directly from the platforms themselves rather than being forced to rely on influencer supplied reporting. Because I don't know if you know this, but people tend to have a selfish motive when they are selling you something. They want to give you the best possible data, and it is much easier than many folks who are perhaps a bit ignorant on the subject matter to provide data that is looking prettier than perhaps it actually is. This is known as first-party data, influencer data that is collected directly from the platform, even some metrics that are not displayed to followers with direct consent from the influencer. So this is called authenticated data, and it provides the campaign engagement metrics and audience demographics modern brands need to fine-tune outreach and improve ROI according to the article. All links to all articles that we cover in the show are right there in the description. The article continues, not only that, but it also ensures a deeper and more accurate understanding of a creator's audience before a campaign even begins. You see, there are many scammers out there that are so-called influencers that buy their followers. That is not hard to do. And then they sort of churn and burn from ignorant folks that want to get into the influencer marketing world, but clearly don't understand the nuances of it. They can sell you snake oil, essentially, and you end up wishing you hadn't purchased from them. So if you're interested in influencer marketing, check out authenticated data. You can do this through influencer agencies themselves. Ask for that authenticated data. When you're negotiating with them, ask for access instead of a report from them. Some of the negatives that can transpire if you don't do this, you can have false geographic targeting, so you could be hitting the wrong areas and not realize it. Not being able to count on an influencer stats or audience demographics. Sometimes there are huge differences between an influencer's typical post and a post that they sponsor. So you're going to want to ask and see the difference between those two things. They may get 1.2 million $1.2 million. I'm sorry, 1.2. I got a Skype. I got distracted. 1.2 million views from a typical post, but let's say 200,000 from a sponsored one. Inaccurate data that leads to inaccurate results, etc. Marketing is getting more difficult, according to ReadWrite.com. Author Nate Need says, whether you're managing a digital business or a brick and mortar storefront, marketing is a practical necessity. This is obviously true. Why is it becoming harder? Well, startup SEO is becoming more difficult because there are so many other competitors in the area. And as I've said many times before, not just the learning curve, not just all the tools that you have at your disposal, it's the complexity that makes it more difficult, and it's the massive amount of competition. The article calls it competition apocalypse. If you are let's say a coach, I see this all the time in National Speed Networking with BNI. There's this notion that, oh, well, I can take a client anywhere in the United States. This will be easy. Well, no. Now your competition are the best coaches at the lowest prices in the entire United States, if not the world. And so why should anyone pick you over anyone else? It, of course, may have something to do with your social media. Tools like free website builders, business plan templates, and others make it easy for even inexperienced entrepreneurs to launch new businesses. This according to the article, and create new websites. Everyone can do it. Not everyone can do it well. And then, of course, digital marketing can be a bit fragile. So SEO, for example, you can rank really well for a couple of months and it can fall away. Building links, writing content, many of these things take years and years to get anywhere towards even converting your first sale. So the takeaway for me here is small niche markets that are local have a benefit. I mean, if you want to rank in your small town for plumbing, much easier to do than ranking in, say, the LA area. You really want to, at least from an SEO perspective, hone in on what it is that actually has a prayer. And then when it comes to Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, Google ads, if you are going to hire someone, make it Send It Rising. We know what we're doing. Trust me, I have hired and fired many Google ads and Facebook folks over the years because anyone on their resume can make their past experience seem really shiny and amazing when in fact it was anything but. TikTok temporarily banning new video creation in Russia. There's a fake news law that Russia rolled out that TikTok is capitulating to. This is a tweet from TikTok comms. They say, in light of Russia's new fake news law, we have no choice but to suspend live streaming and new content to our video services while we review the safety implications of this law. Our in-app messaging service will not be affected. There are huge penalties in Russia for posting things that the Russian government does not like. Vladimir Putin, according to TheVerge.com, signed off on the fake news law last week. It punishes people with fines up to 15 years behind bars for spreading, quote, false information about Russia's military or for publicly calling for sanctions on Russia. So this is something we've seen from Russia over many years, obviously. Comes as no surprise, but it is interesting how social media platforms are just another battlefield where these wars are being waged. And it's going to be up to these platforms to stand up to tyranny. And we will see if they do that. Not looking good for TikTok thus far. LinkedIn profiles can now display career breaks for many of you out there, whether it's having a kid, bereavement, gap year. There's many reasons why you might want to have a career break. LinkedIn now allows you to demonstrate that and explain yourself. This announcement, according to search engine journal.com, is being introduced in response to users asking for ways to highlight the positive aspects of career breaks. Life experiences and skills people have built while on break can sometimes match what employers are looking for in open roles. 62% of employees, according to the article, have taken a break at some point in their professional career. 35% of employees would like to take a career break in the future. 20% of hiring managers say they would reject a candidate that took a break. Interesting. Life happens. You just never know why it is. I personally have yet to take an employment break. I don't know who these people are that are taking employment breaks, but I can see why they would. There can be new skills acquired during breaks. I mean, technically, when I was a teacher, summer was off, although obviously, you don't consider that a break. And in those summers, I would either work as a security guard, the sexiest profession, security guard. And what was the other thing I would do? I started my SEO career, right? So I took that break to actually launch new business ventures, but I don't think that's what they're talking about here. Let's take a look here at Reid Hoffman, co-founded his first new company since his LinkedIn sale. Wouldn't that be nice? Selling LinkedIn. Headquartered in Silicon Valley, according to CNBC.com, Inflection will aim to develop AI software products that make it easier for humans to communicate with other computers. Wow. I had a machine learning guest on my show, Luke Aradoni. You might want to check that out, youtube.com/SendItRising. Check out my interview with him. He is a machine learning expert, and I found that interview to be very, very interesting. According to the article, it's the first time Hoffman has co-founded a company since he sold LinkedIn to Microsoft for $26.2 billion. He is creating the business with DeepMind co-founder Mustafa Suleyman and former DeepMind researcher Karen Simonyan. AI software products that make it easier for humans to communicate with computers. Absolutely incredible. I mean, we are going to have superhuman sight, superhuman hearing. We're going to have, if you think having the world's information in our pockets now is wild, though, you just wait. Things are about to get real crazy. Folks like Reid Hoffman are leading the charge. Obviously, it's not about the money for him. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how AI software evolves in the coming years. We are only at the beginning. I think it's going to start with lenses. We're going to be seeing AI that allows us to navigate our physical world with more grace. It's going to prevent a lot of deaths. I think AI driving is going to be a huge component of that. But count me in. I'm interested. I think ultimately, because I'm an optimist, that things are going to end well. I know there are many, many, many issues and scary things we have to keep in mind in regards to how we address technology moving forward. But again, go humans. We can do this. Google to acquire cybersecurity firm Mandiant for $5.4 billion. This too from CNBC.com. The search giant said it will pay $23 a share for the publicly traded company, which was founded in 2004. If the deal goes through, Mandiant will join Google's cloud computing division. I think this is interesting because they're buying Mandiant because they want to better protect their cloud customers. Cloud is the whole game at this point. And so for Google to see a $5.4 billion investment to protect their cloud clients, just goes to show you how important cloud infrastructure is nowadays. Ladies and gentlemen, influencer marketing. Okay, you want access to the back end. Fight for it. If you're going to move forward with the influencer marketing, if they're going to send you a report, be skeptical of it because you want to make sure that you're hitting the right demographics. Marketing is getting difficult. It sure is. There is a competition apocalypse. It's absolutely insane what's happening for national businesses. If you're local, things haven't changed too much in the last 5 to 10 years, but post-pandemic, so many folks have turned to entrepreneurial endeavors that are national in scope. And from an SEO perspective, they've got so much space they have to cover. It's not easy to do. So I wish them the best of luck, but you're looking at social media as your primary driver of revenue from a national company. So don't shy away from local, small, I should say, business solutions for folks. They may not be as sexy. It might not be as sexy to start a local electrician company or a self-storage unit or a pooper scooper business in a certain zip code. But there's a heck of a lot less competition, I'll tell you that much. TikTok banning new video creation in Russia. I'm saddened by this. I think that TikTok should hold firm and allow folks to communicate in Russia. We shall see how this unfolds. LinkedIn profiles can now display career breaks. Good. I think it's fair that we should put our breaks into our resumes. I think that's just a human sort of thing. Reid Hoffman has co-founded his first new company since LinkedIn sale. All right. AI technology it's the future, it's the present. And finally, Google willing to spend a lot of money on cybersecurity, $5.4 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. Thanks for swinging on by youtube.com/SendItRising. If you are interested in being a guest on the show, shoot me an email, info@senditrising.com. That's info@senditrising.com. If you know someone who might want to be a guest on the show, why don't you let them know? We'd love to have you. Anyway, hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.